everybody, Laura here with the South Carolina State Museum. If you're watching this video, it means you are celebrating Oztober with us and you're one of our awesome members who has gotten their activity kit. This activity kit in particular is going to be the paper plate monster. Technically, it is not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein's monster, but we are going to be making these little paper plate pals. So let's take a look at the materials in your bag and how to make it. The museum is going to be providing you with the following: a green plate, a green sheet of paper, a half sheet of purple paper, and two googly eyes. They might be different sizes. What you need to provide are your own scissors and some glue or tape or something like that, just something to get all of these pieces to stick together. Now, I made one earlier and I didn't have any purple paper with me, which is why we have one with all black over here. And I wanted to show you what it looks like with two different eyes. I think it's really fun. So this is kind of what we're going for with the purple and everything. If you have a marker or a crayon, awesome, that's great because you can draw some of that stuff on there. And remember, when we're doing this, it doesn't have to be perfect because there's really no such thing. You're going to create the best monster you can in whatever version of a monster that you want to. I always like to start with the base of my actual monster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this plate over here. And I'm going to start thinking about what do I want the face of my monster to look like. And I kind of base that around the eyes this time. And a lot of times I do the eyes last, but this time I'm going to go ahead and do them first because that'll give me an idea of where I want my hair and my little bolts and everything. So I'm going to take some glue, I'm going to put it on the back of my eyeballs, and I'm going to put my eyeballs down. Now, you do want your eyeballs a little further down on the plate this time than we've been doing for our other ones. If you've seen some of our other videos, we've made a few different characters. We want the eyes a little further down because our hair is going to cover a good portion of it. All right, so now I have my eyes down. Now let's go ahead and we're going to make the hair and the bolts and the mouth. So first thing I'm going to do is make the hair. Now, the hair is actually the width of your purple sheet of paper, the skinny width, not the wide one. So this is kind of the width of it. So I guess the first thing you can do, really, and the first thing that I did, was I just kind of cut out how wide or long I wanted it to be, which for me is about 2/3 of the paper, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so about that big. And now I'm going to cut the ziggy-zaggies out from that. So, and I like my ziggy-zaggies to be really crazy and not quite perfect, so I kind of do them all kinds of zigzags. I'm going to do some big ones and some little ones. I'm going to maybe do like a wide one and maybe a, really, really tall one. I like really silly, funny looking monsters. So I'm going to make mine really weird, and you can make yours look like anything you want. There's no really right or wrong way to do it. Totally up to you. All right, so there we go. Woohoo, that's some weird hair. So now I'm going to put this over here and kind of figure out where I want it. And I'm kind of looking at it and I'm thinking, maybe that's a little too high. Maybe I want it a little shorter. I like mine, yeah, maybe a little shorter like that. So I just need to trim a little bit off the top. That's the beautiful part. If it ends up in a way that you don't really 100% love, you can always redo it a little bit. That's totally fine. There we go, I like that. The other thing is that if you notice, you can also have the hair the other way. You could do more hair. You could make it even longer. Maybe you want fringy hair. So this is your monster, and you are going to make it look however you want it to look. So I like my hair kind of cattywampus and kind of funny. So I'm going to do mine a little bit like that. I'm going to figure out where it's at, and then I'm just going to put some glue on my plate in the couple of places that I know it's going to touch. You don't need a lot of glue, just a little goes a long way. And I like my hair a little funky, so we're going to do this one a little lopsided. I think that's really fun. Now the next thing I'm going to do is the mouth. And I just so happen to have a skinny piece of paper from here, but all you really have to do is just cut off a small sheet of paper from here and just decide how wide you want your mouth to be. And I think I want my mouth to be about this wide, so I'm going to make a little crease, and I'm going to fold on that crease. And then I don't think I want just a square mouth. I think I want a slightly funny shape, maybe like that. Ta-da! Yes, I love that. That's a fun shape. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to glue that down, just a little bit of glue, and I'm going to put my mouth down. There we go. Now I do have some scraps from my hair that I did. So if I wanted to make some teeth or something, maybe if I wanted to give him some fangs, I could do that. So make sure you experiment and kind of play around with it. It's your monster and you get to design it any way you want. So now I'm going to do the bolts. And this is when I always tell folks, if you want to take a crayon or a marker or something and draw it out first, you are welcome to do that. I love freehanding things because I think it makes everything look a little bit more organic and natural and a little sillier. So I'm going to freehand mine, which means I'm just going to cut it out without drawing. But you are welcome to draw it out. That is absolutely up to you. And all you're really doing is making a big old T. The letter T. So I'm going to cut out these angles. There we go. And I'm going to cut out this angle here. And I've got a little T shape. I'm going to do the exact same thing all over again. So maybe I cut out a little square, and I'm just going to make a T out of that square. So snip that off, and now I'm going to do my other side. Just like that. So now I have two of them, one to stick on each side. Now you can stick it on the top or you can stick it on underneath as well. So it doesn't matter, it's totally up to you. Be as creative as you want to be. Or maybe if this is your first time ever making something like this, maybe you want to follow directly and then maybe take it apart later and create your own. So you can do that too. Sometimes we have to get comfortable before we start going out on our own, and that's absolutely fine. Every day we have to take one step at a time, right? There we go. Okay, so now I have the head of my monster, and it is time to make my crazy wobbly legs. Now, as you can see here, this monster has really big legs. This monster has really skinny legs. This monster's legs are a little bit shorter on one side than the other as well. So you can do that too. Let's see. I think I'm going to make my legs normal size, so kind of skinny, so about 1 inch wide, but I am not going to make them full length like these two. I'm going to make my legs a little shorter than normal. So I'm going to cut that in half, just like that. And now I'm going to accordion fold these two. And what that means is I'm going to fold back and forth in a zigzag pattern. So let me show you what that means. I'm going to take my paper, I'm going to fold it, and then usually the easiest thing for some of our little hands to do is simply flip it over and fold again and try to make it roughly the same size. Flip it over, fold again, and you guessed it, flip it over and fold again. Now what this will end up doing is creating kind of an accordion sort of look, just like that. And that's what you're going for, is a back and forth zigzag kind of fold. Doesn't have to be exact, and you might have a little left over. That is absolutely fine. So there's one leg, and now I'm going to do the other. And I'm going to do this one a little bit faster. So I'm just going to zigzag back and forth, just like that. And remember, I like it when things are a little wonky, so I'm totally fine with two legs that don't match completely. Perfect. And I think this time I want one leg down and the other leg out like he's dancing. I think that might be fun. So I like to put the glue on the inside fold of the flap. So I consider this the inside and that the outside. I like to put a little glue on the inside. I think it just helps adhere to the plate a little bit better. And I'm going to put this one straight up and down, or for the most part up and down. And then I'm going to put this one off to the side like he's doing a side kick, like my little monster's dancing. Just like that. Put a little bit of pressure, and then, I might need a little bit more glue, or a little bit more pressure. Let's see. Little pressure, got it done. So there's my monster. So you see we have a bunch of different types. You've got different eyes, different mouths. If you have some crayons or anything, this monster happens to be leaping to the side. So you've got a lot of different options, a lot of different ways to do it. Make sure you share on social media. We love to see your creations. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you even more for being a member. We couldn't do this without you. And happy Oztober. Thanks, y'all.